It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Hostage Negotiator. This is a game for one player only, and in it you are a hostage negotiator, weirdly enough, and you are trying to rescue some hostages and talk down the abductor, have them turn themselves in, things like that. It's basically a dice game. It's got cards, but it largely revolves around dice rolling. And so the game's very short. It's about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to show you a brief overview of how the game flows, and then I'll tell you what I think of this one. All right, here we go. So here's what the game looks like set up, and we have over here all the cards that you'll be able to acquire throughout the game. You have the main player board here. This is the hostage taker that you're going to be dealing with. There are 3 in the game, and they tell you how to set up, etc. So here we have this this threat level starts at 4, and there are 7 hostages here in the hostage pool. Besides that, this is everything that you're not seeing here. There's other hostage takers, and there will be more second in command, which means when this person's taken out, that goes into effect. I really won't be going over that. And then more terror cards, more pivotal events. But we set this deck up here with 10 cards and then 1 pivotal event on the bottom. The objective of the game, of course, is to rescue at least half the hostages and have the character turn themselves in. There's a few different ways to do that, but again, I'm just going to be giving you an overview of everything you need to do in the game. So, the way rounds work is we're going to be starting with these cards in hand, and the reason we start with these is because their cost, as you can see down there, is 0. So I start with these in hand, and then I am going to be playing these and rolling the dice, and hopefully getting some of these conversation points, decreasing the threat level, rescuing hostages, etc. So let's say I want to play this card here first, called Keep Cool. As you can see on the side here, and every card basically works like this, you have successes that were rolled, 2 successes, 1 or none, and then what happens. So if I roll 2 successes, I'm going to decrease the threat level by 1, and I'm going to get 1 conversation point. If I get none at all, I actually lose 1 conversation point. And then there's the middle 1 single success, which is 1 threat level dropping, okay? So the way this works, and the way it works for pretty much every card, it tells me on here how many dice I'm rolling. Depending on my threat level, I'm going to play the card. I'm going to roll the dice. I got 1 success on that. And so I'm dropping the threat level by 1. And I continue playing basically until I want to stop. These dice have... one side has 2 cards printed on it. That means you can discard 2 cards from your hand and make that face a success. And then 2 successes. The 5 side and the 6 side are successes. So I've done that. I'm going to play another one that's identical. Keep Cool again. I got another success. I'm dropping the threat level again. I am going to play Small Talk, which is for a lot of conversation points, and I'll tell you what those do in a second. I got 1 success, and I could make another success. I will choose not to, because this is going to cost me 2 cards to do that, and I would get basically 1 extra conversation point, but every card on the back can be discarded for 1 conversation point, all right? So I am going to get my conversation points out of that one, which I track on here, and then I'm going to discard all 3 of these cards for 1, 2, 3 conversation points, and I'm done. I move on to the next phase. The next phase is I can now buy cards from everything that's out here, and then the terror is going to happen, the terror phase. And so I have 5 conversation points. These cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 conversation points. I can buy whatever combination I want to. So let's say I'm going to get myself one of these. That's 2. And one of these, which is 4. That's 6 conversation points. And after that, then everything I've spent goes back in the common pool, meaning next round, I'll be able to take all these cards into my hand for free because they're all zeros. And so I'll put those aside there somewhere. And now comes the terror phase in which I flip over the top card and deal with it. A moment of weakness. I've just rescued one hostage and we move the hostage up here. This continues. Now I would do my next turn. I would, let's say, do that. I would roll. I got 1. Drop this. 1 conversation point. I'm going to be rolling 3 dice from here on out. I'll play that one. 1 success gets me... This goes up, actually, but I get 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should have rolled an extra die on that. Let's do that. Boom. 2 successes. So, never mind. 4 conversation points. And that's basically it. You continue doing this. Again, you are trying to rescue these hostages. If the terror ever drops to here... the threat rather, and attempts to drop again, you rescue a hostage. If it ever goes all the way up here and rises again, a hostage is killed. And so you need to really manage that. This game that I'm playing right now is probably one of the absolute best games I've ever had of this this hostage negotiator game, actually. So I think once I'm done with the video, I'm going to keep on playing so I can actually win it. But that's pretty much it. Again, you continue burning through these. You have until this is over. You're going to see things like roll a die. If the result is less than the threat level, then a character is killed. And terror goes up by 1, etc. You have until this one. Once this one's flipped, then that's the last turn for you to win the game. You are also, throughout the game, going to have to reveal these demands, which allow you to give something up, say for example, spend 4 conversation points to concede during a conversation, and you're going to get some power now, but then you turn the card sideways, and it gives you a little penalty for the rest of the game. That's typically the way these work. You continue doing this, and rolling the dice, hoping you get what you need to get, and at the end of the game, again, if you can rescue everybody, or have the character, the threat level be so low that he eventually turns himself in, then you win the game. I tend to be a fan of solitaire games, especially the ones that are simpler, not big, massive, hour-long solitaire games, or longer than that, big campaigns, but simpler games, card games, whatever. I tend to like that style of game. There's a few really, really solid ones out there. This one, unfortunately, did not really inspire me. I found it to be too luck-driven. I thought the theme was fine enough, but all the artwork on the cards is, uninteresting. It's not inspiring. Again, the game just did not captivate me, I think. It's too lucky and too random for something to really give me a tactical challenge. And I found myself going, well, here we go again. Nope, failed again. And then flipping over those cards, the terror cards, you just never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's even good. And again, random and uninspiring is ultimately the way this came across. I would not mind the dice rolling in this game if it wasn't 15 minutes. And everything came down to dice rolling. It just seems like if you don't roll well enough, you don't get anything. I mean, there's that one die face that lets you discard 2 cards to make a success, but if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, that's it. You got nothing. And it didn't feel to me like there was enough dice rolling to even that out throughout the game. You just get hosed sometimes. So ultimately, this is a pass for me. If you really like this theme, if you're okay with a little filler, then give it a shot. But to me, I would recommend other solitaire games in this style of game. Games like Friday from Freedom and Freeze is a card game. No dice in that one, but it's a card game with with drawing luck, but neat ways to manage that and mitigate that. There are the Onirim and the games in that series of games, which I think are really solid solitaire games. This one for me simply has a footprint that's too big. It's too random. It's unappealing to me, and so I got to give this one a pass, unfortunately. But again, if the theme really speaks to you, if what you saw in the overview there is something that captivated you, which, by the way, that really was about the most lucky game I've played of this. It was just going my way. Again, that's not necessarily good, because when it goes on the other side, I'm like, great, I'm just getting hosed. But that really was very lucky. But ultimately, this is a pass, folks. For me, that is Hostage Negotiator.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.